Gamcel defati
mané lam daan def at mu nek rek fasiyene bolé fukki nit yóbbu leen ñu siyaare ji Makka wala Rome loolu la Gamcel defati
yaay ministère lan lay def ba win
ni ngay def daal dafa yomb ba dee gis nga scratch and win bii kaati $100 moom rek ngay jënd boo ko xoosee jël nomba bi dugal ci sa mobile mu ne ràcc dem sa computer ba sa turang fa sa nombaang fa
du tere ne ngañ maa fa nekkoon ba léegi ña nga fa
la fa nekkoon ba tey mu ngi fa mun nga faa am ngañ maay ci xaalis bi waaye itam mun na laa yóbbu Makka dama ne réewi Gambie yi jóg leen de Gamcel ñëwati na ci paasi Makka yi dama ne li ci Gamcel li na boog li feeñ fii ci Gamcel lépp a ngi ci biir
scratch bi
télévision yi
générateur yi
lépp a ngi ci biir jël leen $100 de scratch mu mun leen a yóbbu Makka ngeen siyaara ji wala Rome lépp a ngi ci biir
lépp a ngi ci biir
lépp a ngi ci biir
lépp a ngi ci biir de
li na boog li feeñ
lépp a ngi ci biir
li ngeen gis ak li ngeen gisul
mi ngi ci biir de
dañ leen dem ba ca kanam
lépp a ngi ci biir yaay borom
Good evening and welcome to the news and the headlines tonight. Cashew growers and other stakeholders from different parts of the world descend on Banjul for the 5th annual conference of the African Cashew Alliance. Gambian journalists deepen their knowledge of election reporting ahead of the November 24th presidential race. The suspected involvement of Somali pirates in the abduction of a British national from a beach resort in Kenya sends jitters in the security community in Nairobi and beyond. And supporters of a death row prisoner to be killed by lethal injection tonight in the U.S. state of Georgia make a broad appeal for help to stop his execution. These stories and much more coming ahead this half hour. I am Ajami Sise. The African Cashew Alliance is holding its 5th annual conference in the Gambia on the theme Bringing the Cashew World Together. The synergy, which brings together close to 350 delegates from across the world, will during the 4-day conference period share best practices and new cashew production and processing technologies and innovation as well as marketing techniques. Mamaji was at the opening and she now reports.
Show that cashew is increasingly becoming an important cash crop in Africa, thus giving a renewed hope in the fight against poverty. It is estimated that nearly 40% of the global cashew crop is produced by about 2.5 million smallholder farmers in Africa, majority of whom live in rural areas. The Gambian cashew is said to be the best and the fastest growing industry in the sub-region, with a tremendous increase in production over the last 5 years. This year, the country exported some 65,000 tons of raw cashew nuts. The Gambia being the gateway for cashew exports in the Sigabi sub-region, that is Senegal, Gambia and Guinea-Bissau, the demand for cashew products continue to outstrip supply worldwide. Out of the 700,000 tons of raw cashew nuts produced in Africa, only 10% is processed in the continent, and in the Gambia, less than 1% of the total raw cashew nut exported is processed in the country. The president of the Cashew Alliance of the Gambia, Mamadou Cisse, stressed the need to intensify cashew processing in Africa. He urged stakeholders in the cashew business to come up with strategies that will significantly increase the processing and production of cashew in Africa.
The two most intractable processing challenges, cashew nut shelling and kernel peeling, are still worldwide mainly done by hand. We therefore call on engineers, innovators, etc., to come up with simple and efficient designs that will substantially reduce the drudgery in processing the nuts and increase the marketing of value-added cashew products.
The president of the Africa Cashew Alliance, Idris Kalanji, urged Africans to seriously look into the issue of processing these cashews produced in the continent.
Production of cashew has been declined in some countries due to lack of sustainable and progressive farming techniques. Most of smallholder farmers rely on old and aged cashew trees and lack of initiative to plant new trees. The potential to improve and increase production is there. How do we help this? We can discuss it here. Let's come up with the solution, how to assist this.
A representative of the African cashew industry underscored the importance of partnership in the cashew business.
The African Cashew Initiative, ACI, which is sponsored by the German government, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and several private sector cashew sector. ACI is working since 2009 towards increasing the income of farmers in 5 different African countries. We project to have additional 5,500 jobs by the end of 4 years, which is by March 2013.
Renata Clark of the FAO raised concern over the issue of macrotoxin contaminations in cashew nuts.
We've had substantial collaboration over the years with the International Nut Council, and this has been driven primarily by our common interest to address issues of mycotoxins in nuts. This problem, mycotoxin contamination in nuts, remains a major concern in international food safety circles. And we have seen in recent times, we've seen countries coming together to agree on maximum aflatoxin limits in hazelnuts, almonds, and pistachios, even when the starting position of the importing and the producing countries were quite distant. This convergence is possible because of the clear rules of the Codex process and because more and more countries are able to participate and therefore believe in this process.
The Minister of Trade, Regional Integration and Employment, Abdul Koli, encouraged investors to support the cashew industry in an effort to harness the potentials of the sector and spur economic growth as well as reduce poverty.
Of particular importance to me along this cashew value chain is the need for increased processing of the cashew nuts to take advantage of its untapped potential for employment generation. In effect, current data shows that less than 5% of African raw cashew nuts undergoes further processing in Africa, leaving a tremendous opportunity for poverty reduction and job creation largely untapped. By exporting the bulk of its raw cashew unprocessed, Africa is missing out not only on the opportunity that processed nuts offer in terms of better pricing, but also on the potential that cashew byproducts offer, such as fuel, juice, and wine.
The 6th Annual African Cashew Alliance Conference, which has the theme Bringing the World Together, is running alongside the 1st World Cashew Exports 2011. It is hoped that at the end of the 4-day conclave, participants will come out with renewed vigor and strength to continue the efforts to promote and adopt new strategies that will chart the way forward to bring in rapid transformation to African cashew industry. Mama J, GRTS.
The Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and MRC Gambia are training a cohort of nurses in rotavirus surveillance ahead of the upcoming rotavirus surveillance due to be rolled out in the first week of October 2011. Asatu Bajansar was at the opening ceremony and she now reports.
Children, and it is one of several viruses that cause infection, often called stomach flu, despite having no relation to influenza. The virus is transmitted by the fecal oral route. It infects and damages the cells that line the small intestine